Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a Jace with Jace, the tabletop introduction and discussion brought to you by the Black Tower Stories. I am your host, Jace, and with me today, if negotiations go down, he'll get the best deal, using his station to ensure he won't kneel, adding in the Dead Club so he's not alone, but no matter the members, Volred's top of the throne. Welcome in, Raab.
Ooh. You know, I feel special because it was short, concise, and it hits all the boxes.
It's basically every combat with Volred. It's like, this is going to be quick. I have things to do later.
Yeah, I mean, hey, let's just jump right into that. 96 damage or whatever.
Big number, very fast. And then their second hit was still for like 40-something. I was like, oh, crap. You're the only, out of all the combats I've had with Eric, I've never seen him more frustrated on a single player just consistently effing over one monster every single time. And not doing anything to stop it. Like, there's plenty of things he could do to prevent these things from happening, but nah. He just keeps letting it happen.
Aw, I feel so special. Do you think it's because he's being nice to me because I'm the new player? Oh, I mean, it's been a couple years now, but still like the new player? Or do you think he just is looking at from the point of, he can't keep doing this to me?
It's that. It's like, well, I don't want to stop it, 'cause that's the only thing. He doesn't do it that often. Then he remembers, oh yeah, it is every combat. We just don't have a bunch of combat, so in between, when he would fix it, he doesn't.
Speaking of combat, it was, I think if you were looking for some combat, you can thank me, because I messaged Kilmo at the beginning of the session saying, I feel like, paraphrasing, I was like, if we do combat, which I think we will at some point soon, I'm going to forget all of this shit. And to be fair, I remember the mechanics of like, hey, you know, I'm rolling at advantage, I get the reroll, I get the sneak attack, you know, I get the steady aim, but when it comes terms to, if I were to actually like call it out as one should of, I'm using my elven accuracy to yeah, that level of detail is just...
Kilmo's been playing for a very long time, and he flatlines his delivery on everything he does. Like, he's like, I'm gonna swing, I'm gonna hit, I do this, I'm done. And he's playing a wizard now. It's still basically the same thing. He's been playing for over a decade.
That's fair, but I want to do it right, you know. And every time I want to do it right, I'm forgetting.
I'd much rather you just get that portion right of like attacking and hitting correctly than focusing on the flourish of what you're doing and then forget, oh, I missed half of my dice on that. I should probably remember that next time.
Yeah, you know, I think the main takeaway is if I could just remember the crit damage, because it's going to happen again,
yeah,
Eric.
It's combat. It'll definitely happen. Because you'll go before everyone else, and you'll crit them again, and we'll just be kind of there.
But to be fair, I did explicitly state, I forget how this works.
Yeah. So
that's
why Eric probably can't solve it, because he forgets too. Surely he'll forget. Surely Raab will forget how this works next time, and I won't have to deal with it.
Well, if it depends if he took his medicine, because he might forget more.
We got to get combat early in the game. That way, there's not enough time for the medicine to kick
in. Fair enough.
I mean, my crits aren't nearly as impressive as yours.
Hey, you did some serious damage.
I did. I critted twice. That I was very shocked.
Yeah.
The same round. Like, oh. Ooh, nice.
We love to see it.
Out of I think I've swung a total of 10 times with Aranthir, and I've crit 3 times out of it. That's 30% crit rate.
I didn't go to school for math, but I think that's 30% crit rate.
That is 30%. Notice how I started with 10, knowing that I was going to give a number that was easy to put a percentage on.
It was a number that was easy to put a percentage on.
I feel like we're speaking the same language.
I love coming on here because we just say the same things, man.
Anyway, aside from last session, how have you been?
Oh, I mean, like, if we're doing, like, as a person, human being, I'm doing fairly well. Just doing the whole, work thing, the life thing, the mid-30s, like, wanting to go do stuff, but also being tired and just wanting to lay under a blanket all day. Um, which, honestly, is kind of a vibe. Um, but yeah, things have been going pretty smooth. Um, I'm kind of excited to see, like, now that we're clearly, roughly like 1/3 into this campaign, how's it going to play out in the end?
Can't wait to get to level 38.
Oh, you don't know what I'm going to do at 48. I don't think the game even knows.
I don't think the game can.
You know what, though? Like, maybe this is a bit of a sidetrack, but why not make a game that goes up to level 50?
Just make up the rules as we go.
Yeah, just keep going.
Just keep adding stuff. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, when life gives you lemons,
Crit.
you crit and then kill the monster, and then the DM gets mad and they drink some Dr. Pepper to feel better about it. But when they should be drinking lemonade because that's what life gave in that moment.
It already processed it.
Unlike my last statement, very unprocessed.
Well, I want to bring up something you mentioned during the pre-stream. The fact that you're getting called out as a D&D player, as someone you work with. Was
Yeah,
asked, do you play D&D?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm giving the vibe, but yeah, I had a coworker today just be like, a new coworker, couple weeks in knowing her, and she's like, "Oh, you kind of remind me of my brother a little bit." And before I could ask like what that meant, she kind of like shot me a look, and she was like, "Do you play Dungeons and Dragons?" And part of me was taken aback because like on one level I'm like, "Bitch, are you reading me?" But she was accurate, so
Man.
I guess I give off the vibe that I just love stroking dice.
It's a wonderful way of putting that. And I've never been called out as that. Like, do you play D&D? It's usually I'm around people and they start a conversation of D&D, and they're like, "Oh, I play D&D," and they're like, "Really?" They're shocked. Like, no. I play
New
D&D.
strategy. Next time that happens, play dumb and start asking questions and see like get a vibe on those people and then just like play with them a little bit,
But I get excited when someone talks about D&D, so I can't really do that.
Well, I mean, like you could get to that point eventually, but like you could still kind of mess with them a little bit.
All right, start off. I'll work on staying reserved and not jumping to action. It's like, let's talk about this thing.
Yeah, okay, practice with me. So, oh, hey Jace, do you play D&D?
Yes. Damn it.
Fucking nerd.
Oh man, I need to get a new job now.
You're fired.
You can't fire me for that. You can fire me for all the embezzling. You can't fire me for that.
Listen, it's in the contract. Embezzlement's okay. We're a Fortune 500 company.
Oh, it's part
But
of
D&D, the stakeholders and stockholders will hate to hear this.
Get steaks.
But they're not cooked very well. They're either blue rare or they're
Burnt.
basically burnt.
A briquette.
Something Gorbeck would eat.
I will. Yeah. He would do one or the other. There would be no in between.
Okay. So, random question. What sort of steak would Azal order?
I think Izal is she's probably more like a fully cooked steak person. I don't think.
Okay.
I'm not a fully cooked steak person because I have proper
morals,
and I don't like being judged.
Uh-huh.
But I think she probably would want her steak cooked all the way through.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like more than half of our party would probably feel the same. Like, I get very much well done or medium well vibes from Kelmac.
Or do you go the
I don't.
raw meat method because he's a cat?
Oh, okay, that's actually better. So probably raw meat there. Um, Yandere, I feel like is, well, I don't know. There's 4 personalities there, so
They're all different kinds. What if like a different flavor, a different favorite type of meat too? Like you have
yeah.
Summer Yandere is a New York strip because he's from New York,
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Um,
but like fully
Sal,
cooked.
Sal's like a good T-bone, just like, yeah. I can't explain why, but Sal T-bone.
What Volred? What's
Oh,
Volred's meat?
filet mignon, medium rare, with a mushroom glaze. Like, ooh,
And if they don't have any of that, he'll get something else.
he'll probably just drink cognac.
Well, his night's ruined, so
Oh, he was drinking cognac anyways.
now he has an excuse to go over the deep end.
Because the steak wasn't correct.
They don't have my favorite type of steak. Well, I'm gonna drink belligerently. I was probably gonna do it anyway, but now I have a reason.
You know what? Calum, steak sandwich. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's. I don't know why, but it definitely feels right with him.
Steak sandwich.
He strikes me as someone who would like spam. Like go out of his way
Oh,
for it.
oh, okay, time out. Jace, do you not like spam?
I think it's fine, but Caleb strikes me as someone who'd go out of their way to like, ooh, this is an option. I'm picking this over a different kind
Okay.
of food.
Spam has its place, and it's good in certain dishes. And you know what? We could leave spam at that. I don't. Is there an equivalent of, like, if there were spam in the game? Which, by the way, Eric, maybe this is an opportunity to give us some spam content. Maybe a sponsor. What would like? What race would eat the spam?
I don't think it's a race. I think it's a how you were raised and not having. Because it's not. It's a processed meat that's preserved, so it had to be someone poor.
So not Volred. Got it. Okay.
Volred would wonder what the hell it is, probably.
Well, there's that weird fine line of when rich people don't understand what like poor things are, and because it's new, it could be viewed as like a delicacy as long as you market it correctly.
Like the can of caviar comes in a sealed container. Like, ooh, sealed food. This must be fancy.
Like you could say like dried meat processed in a 14-day drying pattern paired with a sodium glaze cooked upon the finest, you know what I mean, like
The high sodium reduction.
high sodium reduction, which by the way, do you know what an aioli is?
Isn't that like a type of instead of I know it's used in place of like the mayonnaise. So I'm guessing
It's basically just mayonnaise but flavored. But it sounds fancy. Steak aioli doesn't sound as good as miracle steak.
someone put mayo all over my steak. I saw a blue plate. I saw it. It's in the back.
White plate. That's a white people dish.
So let's get into some questions I have for you. It has been many a blue moon since you have been on this adjacent. Is there anything that's happened from now and the last time you were here that has surprised you, and does it involve your relatives?
Okay, yes and no, but I will say, like as a player, there actually was a level of surprise about how Volred deciding randomly to sleep would cause these visions that would like conjure the hunt. Because when we were just sort of like in that session and just figuring out what to do, that was kind of just like a fuck it, throw away, like, oh, Volreg is gonna try to sleep because it sounds fun. And then that turned into some story building that I was not ready for.
Turns out it was not fun.
It was not fun, and that was a surprise. I do appreciate the twist. You know, I got to give Eric credit for knowing, at least with me, the moment I start feeling comfortable, there's sort of this reminder of like, don't get too comfortable. And and pairing that situation of sleeping with, you know, the return of his mother and brother, basically saying, you know, Kiyosa has been, you know, taken over. That was a huge sort of like, what the fuck? And, you know, honestly, I didn't know how to handle it because it really did seem to be something that came out of nowhere. So, yeah, that was a big surprise.
Also, since we've last been on, Gorbek came back for a little bit. What was your reaction when that happened?
You know, that was, again, that was a surprise as well, because Gorbek has joined the stream once before, just playing like an NPC. God,
Cletus.
Forget it.
That's the name
Was
of the frog.
his name Cletus?
Cletus
That was the name of the frog, yeah.
I have no idea what the hell their names were.
It was him and Tater, right?
Was it Tater or Momo?
I can't remember, but that was super fun. When they, you know, those rednecks in the sewer. But so when Bevo came back, it was like, oh, cool, this is just going to be another NPC situation. But it ended up being Gorbek, which honestly I thought was a lot of fun. I'm glad that Bevo got a chance to jump in and hopefully, you know, for his character, come to some closure that maybe wasn't received like earlier in the game. I do, you know, understand that, you know, his participation was temporary, but I wish we could have gotten maybe, you know, another 3 or 4 sessions out of that. But I understand he had some things come up IRL, which, you know, required him to not be available. So,
which is a thing. Has it ever been said, because we haven't had any Jace with Jace since Bevo was on.
That's true.
Bevo did not say like, oh, I'm done, I just want to show up this one time. He had agreed to play it throughout the month, but our scheduling got all messed up to where there was no longer any time because we missed a bunch of sessions in the middle of that month, ran out of time. So
yeah,
also wonder where the hell Gorbek is right now, because he didn't come with us.
Yeah.
Did he abandon us again? What a jerk.
He did. Did you have a good time with the whole Gorbek return?
Oh yeah, I found out the Saturday before, because I was having lunch with Eric and Bevo, and we had mentioned at the end of them, it's like, oh, there's a guest. I was like, oh, okay, Eric, who's the guest? I go, it's Bevo. It's like, oh, Bevo, cool. It's like, do we have like an asset for him? What's he playing? That way I can have that prepared, because I have to have that set up. I can't just do it immediately. It's like, oh, he's playing Gorbek. I just looked at Bevo across the table. I was like, you son of a bitch. It's like, I was like, I'm going to punch you. In game, I'm going to punch you.
I bet he had the biggest shit-eating grin on his face.
I was like, it's like, my reaction in the game is the reaction I had when I found out it was him. It's like, I'm going to try to hit you.
Oh, yeah. So if we're going to power rank the moments in which I, as a player, really considered just randomly pulling my bow out and shooting someone, like, unprovoked, it would have been my sister Salusa, which, you know, in the end, I'm glad I saved. That was, I think, a, you know, good overall moment for story building and character development. But I'm not going to lie, there was part of me that was just like, you know, take this bow out, line up the shot, and just let it rip. And honestly, if like Eric had introduced Gorbek again, and Eric was playing Gorbek, I probably would have done it. No lie. But I didn't want to do that to Bevo. I was really glad to have him back and had a lot of fun.
You did get to kill him, though.
I did. But, you know, that was an agreed upon circumstance.
That wasn't proper murder. It wanted a good old-fashioned assassination.
It wasn't proper murder. If we're going to talk about other surprises, there's probably two of them. One is the fact that, I don't know, after this campaign, Volred might be taking contract work from the devil.
As long as you're killing the bad people, I was all for it. Like, cool, I'll do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that demon or whatever he is, I forget his name. Sorry, Eric, I don't remember the names. The one that's following us around, hidden, you know, that dude.
Yeah, I can't remember. I have to look at my notes, and I'm not doing that.
You know, he had that little conversation with me in the attic of like, hey, you'd be pretty good at like doing this whole like assassin thing for the devil. And I don't know, like it kind of sounds like that could be cool, you know?
I would want to play because when that came up, it was like, oh, we could like work for the demon or whatever and kind of be on the good side but still have some fun. Like, ooh, what's a good idea for character? Like, you're just a hitman for a devil and you're going around killing the enemies of this creature. As long as it follows the rules that you had. Like, I'm not going to kill any innocent people. Like, okay, that'd be a fun way to play out a character at like a low level, growing into the higher ones. Like, I'm just a hitman, and my job is to do this.
We haven't had any innocent people slain, have we?
Well, there was the parents of the kid from the very beginning.
Well, like by us.
I don't know, because I don't go murdering people.
I think so.
If we did, it had to be someone you killed, because
just those ADAC.
Yeah, the slaughter in the woods.
Hey,
plains.
Listen. They said to honor animals, and some people view honor as sending spirits to a beyond realm where they're more naturally closer to their, you know, creators. So maybe Volred was actually just honoring their souls by releasing them from the mortal plane. Have you considered that?
Mm-hmm. A quick, precise, unseen death.
I mean, that sounds great, even IRL.
Followed by 8 others.
We had meat for so long.
We only could carry so much. We could not even carry the meat from one of them. Someone had meat.
Does the meat eventually go bad in the bag of holding?
Bag of holding? Yes. Bag of colding? No. Because it freezes it instantly.
And we don't even have to, like, vacuum seal it?
No. It's like having a portable deep freeze that perfectly preserves it. Can't put anything living in there, though. It'll die.
What do you think ADAC meat tastes like?
I imagined it was something like an elk.
So like deer, venison?
Venison.
Have you ever had deer jerky?
Yeah.
Pretty good. I haven't had it in a long time, yeah.
Venison and bison are apparently really good. I've had venison, I haven't had bison.
I've had a bison burger before, but like,
burger seems like a waste.
Yeah, like, if I were to have bison, I would want like I want a chunk of meat in my mouth.
I want to know the texture.
We should have more bison. Let's, Joe Biden, do it.
What is it? They're endangered, right? Unendanger them.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be easy. We have science, right?
Yeah, just say they're unendangered, and we're good. We're good to go.
Like the way you think.
We think similarly?
Totally. We're like twins.
Yeah. Of certain things in common.
Very.
I didn't ask this in the very beginning, but was there anything that you wanted to talk about?
I mean, not necessarily, because, I mean, let's be honest, if there's something I want to talk about, it just comes out of my mouth anyways, regardless of the topic. I'll figure out a way to, like, fit it in. I always figure out I always find a way to fit it in.
Oh boy.
Have you had a New York bagel?
I've heard. No,
with the salmon?
I don't live in New York.
Okay, so there are places around here, apparently, that will, like, offer a New York bagel, and it's okay.
One of the guys I work with is from Philadelphia, and he says, like, the bagels up there, like, way better. I was like, I don't want to go out of my way for a bagel.
I will say I've never been to Philly. I have been to New York once and got a chance to stay in Manhattan. All of the food, every single place we ate, even, like, the street food, was so unbelievably good. Like, I don't know, like, they say the water up there is just real great, so especially, like, your breads and, like, carbs and stuff like that, you know, just like...
Because of all the lead.
Oh, I do love lead, though, and microplastics.
Tangy.
Yeah, I mean... Listen, like, this is the year 2024, and, like, we have so many food options. You need to be able to spice it up.
How do you feel about missing episode 69?
That was a little sad. Eric covered for me. You know, sometimes when you're a young child, you grow up and you hope that one day you can be on a episode of a streaming series that has a suggestive episode number, but then, you know, life hits you head on and you have an unexpected emotional outburst that makes you very much a sad boy. And sometimes when you're a sad boy, you can't really, like, get in front of a screen and say stupid things. Though, who knows, maybe that actually would have been the sort of therapy I need in this sort of, like, dystopian world we live in, to make things better. But I've healed.
We'll just pencil you in for episode 169.
Ooh, okay, that or 96. Because that's
the opposite. That's like
it
reverse
is.
spooning.
Yeah, but it still has, like, the same vibe, right? It makes you think about it, right?
I figure, like these two numbers do not know how to 69.
Yeah, it's like, what if we just both flipped?
It's like they're done 69, someone farts, and you just turn the other way now.
I'm thinking 69. So if you flip, wouldn't that just be like standing back to back?
I mean, they rotate the mirror.
Yeah, so, like,
I don't know. It was a bad analogy.
But, you know, I'll gladly do episode 96. I'll gladly do episode 420 if we make it that far. I'll be honest, I think we'll get canceled before then. And by that, I'm not talking about the show. Like, one of us will probably get canceled online for some reason.
It'll be me.
They'll
find the bodies. Anyway, on to the game I have set up.
Oh, God.
I was inspired last session.
Okay, real quick.
Go ahead.
Before you start, maybe I'm glad I missed the last session, because if you played the same game that you put Eric through, listen, like, you would have, like, I would have just been sitting here the whole time being like, nope.
Pass.
Nope. The content would have been terrible. So I'm hoping the difficulty level is a little bit lower. I would like a challenge, but I don't want to be here looking stupider than I already am. But if that's what happens, I've committed my fate.
Okay, well, this game here, I was inspired by last session and by you saying, like, I've got this many D6s and I hit for this, and I got track of all that, and I wanted to do a game where we kind of have an idea of what damage is. And then this game is called What's the Damage? I've compiled a list of weapons and spells that all do damage. And I would like you to tell me what the damage is. Whether like the dice damage it is, or how much of the damage it can be if it's a spell or something.
Okay.
So we're going to start things off. I've got 10 weapons here. And then we'll go to 10 spells. And we'll see if you can get these correct. And we'll start off with number 1. These are all official. I didn't make up any trickery here. These are things that you may or may not know. The first weapon is a net.
Okay. I'm gonna say like 1d4.
Okay. 1d4. I'm just gonna go ahead and give you whether you got the answers right or wrong right now. That way, it's easier for me to track. A net does 0 damage.
Oh, that seems like a trick question.
That was the trick question.
That's fair. Okay.
I said that I had no trick questions in there by them being all official. Not that some of them don't have any damage.
Okay.
But this does. That is a weapon. Number 2, the trident. What is the damage die of a trident?
One d8.
1d8. Okay. And the answer is, I like to give you trick questions as early as possible. Half credit. A trident is a versatile weapon, which means one-handed it deals 1d6. Two-handed it deals 1d8. You get half a point.
I'll take it.
All right, that is question number 2. On to question number 3, the war pick.
Ooh, okay, war pick.
Remember, it might be versatile, which means it has 2 different damage dice.
I am versatile.
I'm amphibious.
Do you mean ambidextrous?
No, I can't breathe underwater.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I always get them mixed up. What was it? The
war pick.
War pick. I'm gonna say it's 1d4 or 1d6.
So both?
Well, if it's like, can't you do like 2? Isn't that what you mean?
Versatile means it can be held with one hand or with 2 hands.
Oh, there's a corn dog place called Two Hands, by the way, and it's Korean corn dogs. And like, I'm just saying, like, you should try it sometime. So I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna change it up here. War sounds like really crazy and bad. I'm gonna say 2 d8s if you're holding both hands.
So 2d8s if you're holding both hands. What if you're holding it one-handed?
1d4. I'm kidding. 1d8.
1d8 or 2d8. Okay. And you will get half credit again. 1d8 is correct for single-handed. 2d8 is not correct. It is 1d10.
I mean, I figured that'd be a pretty big gap, but I'm just swinging for the fences here.
On to our next weapon. We have the blowgun.
Oh.
We just got talked about 2-handed corn dogs.
Blowgun is 2d4.
2d4. I will give you half credit again because it is 1d4. You got the dice correct. You did not get the amount. Okay, on to this next one. We've got the whip.
A whip.
Whip.
Like cool whip.
Cool whip, only sexy.
1d10.
1d10. And the answer is 1d4.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Taking big damage on that one. That's impressive. On to our next one. We have a javelin.
I would say the javelin is... Oh, I feel like... Javelin's 1d8.
1d8. Is that it?
It's 3d4. Nope, 1d8.
Just 1d8. I'll give you half credit as a javelin has versatile. Two-handed, it is 1d8. One-handed, 1d6.
Okay, I'm sensing some patterns here, so... Okay.
Next question, the hand axe.
Ooh, okay. At any point, are these going to get into 2 die?
Maybe. There are weapons that do use 2 die.
I feel like, well, the hand axe is like 1 singular, so I'm thinking it's 1d8.
1d8. The answer is 1d6.
Damn, okay. Well, shoot.
The next one, we have a maul.
See, I feel like... Okay, what exactly is a maul? Because I think maul, like you maul someone, like attack them. Is a maul a specific, like, device?
A maul is a big mallet or hammer.
It's big, though. I'm told that a lot. 1d6.
1d6. And the answer is 2d6. So I'll give you half credit.
Ooh.
You got d6 was correct. You just didn't get the quantity right again.
I'm getting all the points.
But it was ironic that you asked if there are any ones that would have 2 dice on it, and then the very next one was the one that had it.
Sad.
Next one, we have the sickle.
I feel like a sickle could, like, fuck you up. I'm gonna say this is 2d6.
2d6. And the answer is 1d4.
Damn, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Get a lot of halves. The final weapon is a club.
Just your basic club.
A club.
Does the club have apple bottom jeans?
Only if you wear boots with the fur.
Okay.
Because then you're
the
like
whole
a
club
barbarian.
looking at her. Okay. I feel like a club is gonna be one that'll give 2 dice at a lower amount. So I'm gonna go with like 2d4.
2d4. And you will get half credit, and it is 1d4.
Damn.
So, out of the weapon assessment, you got
A failure.
3 total points.
Let me do my math. 1, 2. Okay.
That 3 does add up to 3.
Okay.
All right, on to the next section. These are all spells. These are all official spells. These aren't made-up spells that I have here. And I would like you to tell me how much damage these spells do either their maximum, the amount of dice they use, or an average.
So, say that again.
Tell me the number of dice they use,
Okay.
the maximum damage they could do, or the average they could do, and you can get 1 point for the amount of dice, 2 points for the total amount, the maximum damage, and I'll give you 3 points if you can tell me the average.
Do you want me to answer? Do you want me to pick which one I'm going for?
You can just tell me whichever is, and I'll just give you points for them.
Okay.
First up, level 1 magic missile.
Ooh, I think level 1 magic missile is going to have max damage of like 16.
That is incorrect. Close, though.
What is it?
15.
Oh, I feel like I'm writing down half a point.
You can, but I'm not.
Fair, okay.
On to our next question. This is the level 2 spell, Scorching Ray.
Feel like that's 4 dice total.
Do you know what type of dice?
D4.
That is incorrect. We have a total of 6 dice. They are D6s.
Okay.
This does 3 rays of 2D6. So 6D6.
Okay.
On to our next one. This is the classic. The level 3 spell, Fireball.
Ooh, I would say the average is like 26. High.
26 average. Did you want to go for any other guesses? You can do more than one guess.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be 4 die. But it's gonna be like D10s.
Okay. The answer for average damage, you were very close. It is 28 points of fire damage.
Okay.
It is 8d6.
Okay. I feel okay with that.
You're close, except for the damage dice. Like we had 4 instead of 8. But next up, we have the spell 4th level, Ice Storm.
Ice Storm is going to be 6 die, max damage of 6.
They're D1s.
36, average of like 22.
22. I will give you 1 point because you did get the total number of dice correct. That is 6 dice. The average damage is 23. This it is the average.
Okay.
This does 2d8 bludgeoning damage and 4d6 cold damage.
Okay.
Get you 1 point. On to our next one. The 5th question. The 4th level spell, Blight. Recently cast by Caleb in our last session.
Oh. 4th level Blight. I'm going to say it's 8 die. And its max is 64.
Max damage and number of die are correct. It's 8d8 for a total of 64 maximum damage. That's a total of 3 points, for 1 for the dice and 2 for max damage.
Yay.
Well played.
Thank you.
On to the next one. The 6th question. The 5th level spell, Cone of Cold.
Okay. Cone of Cold, I'm going to say 8 die. But I'm going to say these are 6s, so 6, 12, 24. So I guess that would be 48 total points. I'm going to say an average is 28.
You got the 8 die correct. This is again 8d8, so the total average is 36 on this one.
Okay.
But you get a point for total dice damage.
I'll take it.
On to our next question. Question number 7. 6th level spell, Chain Lightning.
Chain Lightning is giving 3 d12s. And no, we're going to go 4. So I guess that'd be a max of 48.
Chain Lightning is a 6th level spell. It does 10d8 lightning damage.
Oh, shit.
To every target it hits, and it hits up to 4 targets.
I feel that's like -2 points right there.
Like, I won't knock you down, but I did say it was a 6th level spell, and you immediately started with 3 dice of damage. So it's kind of...
I've never played a character with spells. I don't get how this shit works.
I'll ask you a question about that later. We gotta get some spell casting.
I learned by doing.
Wild Magic Sorcerer next campaign.
Wild Mushroom?
Yeah, sure. Well, next question. 8th question, 8th level spell, Sunburst.
That's going to be 12 d8s for an average of 64.
You got the number of dice correct. 12d6, average damage of 42. I'm going to give you a point, though, for getting the dice amount correct.
Thank you.
I think big. We're in those higher levels. Next question. 9th question, 9th level. This is the spell Meteor Swarm. 9th level is the highest level spell, by the way.
Okay. I'm going to go with 24 d4s. That's it.
You are almost half correct. It has 40 d6.
No shit.
20 of those are d6s of fire, and 20 of those are d6s of bludgeoning. And it does an average of 70 and 70 for an average damage of 140 points of damage to anyone who takes damage from this spell.
I see you.
A lot of damage.
Yeah.
Next, final question. This is the 10th question, 9th level spell, Power Word Kill. This one's a trick question.
What's it called again?
Power Word Kill.
This is like 60 d8s.
60 d8. I said this is a trick question. Because it was. This spell technically does 0 damage and does 0 dice worth of damage.
It just kills you?
It instantly kills any character with fewer than 100 hit points.
Oh, well, damn. Fuck my life.
There's
Fuck their life.
No death saving throw. Dead.
Straight to hell. Or heaven.
Whichever their belief is. Okay, we have finished the second portion of what's the damage and the total number of points across both sections. For the weapons, you got 3 points. For the spells, you got 6 points. You doubled it with the spells for a total of 9 points. for what's the damage.
I'll take it.
It's pretty good, considering you don't know that much about other things. You got a lot of the spell stuff right, and a lot was just guessing.
I'm a good test taker.
Abacadabra. All right. So, we're coming near the end. So, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Who is the top of your Deadpool? Who's the next character to die?
Azal.
I hope so. It'd be so much fun.
She's gonna get into some bullshit.
Don't know if I believe that. But I tend to get hit a lot.
Yeah, you're gonna get into some bullshit.
I'm still going with Caleb.
Okay, yeah, that probably makes more sense.
Just statistically, he just has to get hit for like one round, and then he's in trouble. So,
And then,
sleep is sleep time. Don't go to sleep; it's too cold. We'll die.
blankets.
Just think warm thoughts as you're unconscious.
I like warm thoughts. They keep me warm.
And unconscious. Another final question, because I have a few more minutes before this one starts.
Do it.
Do you think we will fight to get the head, the severed head thing? Like one of the big baddies.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I don't think Eric's going to give this one easy to us. I feel like we've been doing a lot of story stuff lately. I feel like there's a big battle on the horizon.
Yeah, but I don't want to fight one of them, because they're like Archfey, and they're really strong, and I don't want to do that.
I'm not saying we should. I'm just saying what I think will happen.
If we fight them, how many of us die?
2.
Ooh. I'll say 3.
As long as it's not Yandere, we should have enough stones to resurrect us, right?
Yeah. Thing is, I think one of them is going to be Andre.
Oh, damn, rip.
Because he's going to be drawn into melee combat against an Archfey.
Sad. We don't like to see that.
Ripperonis. Okie dokie. On to the final statement I require from you. Please roll me a D percentile.
Okay.
This is important. This is on the test.
35.
35 on the wild magic chart. Okay, roll a D10.
Oh, okay. 5.
5. You get 5 years younger.
Oh, thank you. Now I'm only 18 in real life.
I don't think that's true.
Is anyone? No one's buying that.
believe you.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Well, did you enjoy the show? This is it. This is
Yeah.
the end. You've returned. You've left your
I did.
mark.
It's already. Wow, time flies.
You've insulted just enough people. And we haven't gotten
Not
canceled.
enough.
Is it just enough?
Next time.
There won't be a next time.
Okay, Eminem.
Marshall Mathers.
Marshall Matters.
Matters.
Family Matters. Urkel.
Huxtable.
I have a friend whose dog is named Huxley, and he's very cute.
Alright. Just thought of something because of names. I work with someone whose last name is McCullum, and she told me that her father's name is the dumbest name I've ever heard. His name is Whatchama.
Whatchama.
It's like Whatcha, but that means his entire name is Whatchamacullum.
Oh, God.
It's like,
You know-
your father's name is a joke.
Right? I have some coworkers with some cool names, but, like, I don't want to, like, out where I work because, you know, professional hoe. But when we end the stream, I'll let you know.
So that's gonna be an NPC in my game. Whatchamacallit.
Yes.
Definitely. Well, thank you all for coming. I really have to go. I hope you liked watching this really crappy show, so please like, follow, and subscribe is what I'm supposed to say. But as always, we shall see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Farewell, and Wiedersehen, guten Tag, do Virginia.